Hi Moonies, welcome to the Sailor Moon Fan Club podcast. I'm your host, Victoria L. Johnson, and I'm here with Gui Dasilva. He's been a stuntman as Leonardo and Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles and Transformers, as Black Panther in Captain America Civil War. He doubled for John Boyega in Pacific Rim. He's worked on Guardians of the Galaxy 1 and 2. And most recently, he's doubled for Jamie Foxx in Project Power on Netflix. I'm really excited to have him. Thanks for coming on the show, Gui. How are you doing?
Thanks for having me. I'm doing good. I'm healthy. The times are crazy, but I found ways to stay active and stay sane and keep being productive.
Yeah, that is very important.
right.
Yeah. Oh man, yeah, it's crazy times. But hopefully like reminiscing on funner times will help. So first question I like to ask everyone is, what's your first memory of watching Sailor Moon?
My first memory of watching Sailor Moon as a boy was coming home after school to watch Toonami, their lineup, and having to sit through Sailor Moon in order to get through to Dragon Ball Z.
Yeah.
So, to be fair, I wasn't at first voluntary fan of Sailor Moon, but it was actually something that, you know how like you turn something on, you're like, it's like, I'll watch this because it's right before the show that I actually want to watch, and you find yourself actually being like, oh, this is actually entertaining, and you find yourself enthralled in it, and then you just keep doing it. That's the new lineup. You're like, all right, cool. So I'm gonna watch Sailor Moon, then I'm gonna watch Dragon Ball Z, and I'm gonna watch Thundercats. Like that's, and then I'm gonna go to Taekwondo class. That was my first introduction, and I didn't even know that Tuxedo Mask was a character yet till maybe a month into watching Sailor Moon. So then I was like, oh, cool. Like, I see it now.
Yeah, that's cool. Did you have a favorite scout?
My favorite scout would be Venus, Sailor Venus.
Nice. Yeah, Venus is awesome.
Yeah, I thought she was dope.
Yeah, that's so funny. I think that's probably how I started watching Dragon Ball Z, because I think I was watching Sailor Moon, and then the TV would just stay on, and then I would watch Dragon Ball Z just because it was like on, and then I just got, like you said, like just got caught up in the storyline, especially with those cliffhangers.
Right, with those man, I would be so upset when they ran Monday through Saturday with like, oh, we're just gonna hit you guys with Goku powering up. I'm like, I don't want to see it. Like, that's not what I want to see.
Yeah, like I'm ready for the fight.
My only entertainment during those days was literally Sailor Moon episodes.
Yeah, it's so good. What other anime are you into nowadays?
I'm into everything.
Yeah.
I'm completely caught up right now on One Piece.
Nice.
Which it makes a lot of people like not want to watch it because of how many episodes. I'm like, no, you don't have to finish. Just watch it. Just enjoy that.
Yeah.
I love Haikyuu. I think Haikyuu is probably one of the best story and action design animes out right now. It's about volleyball. Who would have thought that you'd be invested into a volleyball anime?
Yeah.
Ace of Diamonds, Fire Force, Sword Art Online, My Hero Academia, of course. The list goes on and on. I'm watching whatever they put out on Crunchyroll right now.
Yeah, same. Same with One Piece too. I love One Piece. I am still, I don't know why I keep procrastinating, but I'm like 30 episodes away from being caught up, and I just keep putting it off.
That's fine. Let it grow. Let that build up for you, so you could just one day be like, I'm gonna spend the weekend and just binge it
and be caught up. Yeah, but I really want to watch the Kaido arc because I keep hearing that it's really good, so I want to watch it.
Oh, it's so good.
Yeah.
It's so good.
Do you have a favorite arc?
My favorite arc right now would be Water 7 arc.
Oh, yeah, that's a good one.
Yeah. But I thought that was great. I love Frankie.
Yeah,
Frankie's funny, man. And just the whole that just the whole fight with Usopp for any I'm sorry for any spoiler alert, that whole I thought that was so touching. I would say the most impactful arc for me would be the the Navy versus the Pirates age.
Yeah, and Pull Down.
Yeah, and Pull Down. That's what it is.
Yeah.
That I've never cried so hard in anime in my life.
Yes.
To this day, I'm scarred. But
yeah, and Pull Down and Ennis Lobby have scarred me for life.
Right.
Yeah.
And you have like that's the biggest argument for that anime is like the only way you could get to that point of being so emotionally attached to the story is for you to actually have that many episodes leading up to that. You need to get in touch with the characters. You have to feel for everybody, and it's crazy how every character has a backstory, and they dive into everyone's backstory.
Yeah, and they all make you want to cry.
Yes, I'm like, geez, what has the writer gone through in life?
Seriously, yeah.
There is no bubblegum at all in this.
It is not at all. Everyone has a sad backstory and they just thrive on friendship and
right.
Yeah. And I'm so here for it. Yeah. Yeah, I think I always tell people that they should watch at least until Alabasta, and I feel like that would give you a good sense of like what the show is about, like the heart.
Yep.
But that's still like 100 and so episodes.
Yeah, I always tell people just if you're willing to watch it, I would say watch it up to once you get past 200. That's when you're going to be that's when you're going to think it's probably one of the best animes ever made. Yeah,
definitely. Yeah, but I love it. I could talk about it all day. If I could, I would do a One Piece fan club podcast, but that's for another time.
That's for another. Right now, we're focusing on Sailor Moon.
Yeah. Actually, it was switch up for a bit because I saw you did the My Hero Academia pilot on YouTube. That was really cool too.
Thank you very much.
How did that come about?
A buddy of mine. I'm a part of a team, a group of guys that were originally called 1,000 Pounds, and they've been doing. We've been doing live action anime inspired shorts for the past like 7-8 years.
Oh wow.
The biggest one that they were known for back in the day was the Naruto Dream Fighters, which was Naruto versus Rock Lee. And that got really big. And it got them into doing possibly doing their own original content, clandestine. And the creators of that were Chris Cowan and Haley Lee and Lex. And me and Chris and Haley and everybody, we've all been hanging out, and everybody kind of spread out and went their path professionally. I went and worked on Marvel films with James Young, who's a part of the group. Chris went off and started working with Brad Allen, doing things like The Kingsman and Han Solo, and just out there. He been gone for 4 years, and I've been like, hey man, like the moment you get back, we need to shoot something. Like, let's put what we've all learned from working professionally in the business back into our passion stuff. Let's go back to what it is that we love to do. And he was like, yeah, let's do it. I'm finally coming back in town. And I actually have a little bit of time. I would love to shoot something. Boom, we have this idea, which originally was we were going to shoot, I believe, a Tekken Cross Street Fighter type thing where I was going to play Sean. And as we were prepping to do that, he was like, let's do something to warm up. I was like, let's do something now, because we're trying to prep something that's going to take a little time to prep. Let's do something that we can go out and do right now. And we sat around for a couple days trying to figure it out. And I went to his house on the final day, and I was like, we got to figure this out. We went over to my friend Travis Wong's gym, Jam, Joining All Movement in Northridge, and was trying to see who was around, who's available to shoot a fight with me. And we didn't see anybody there. Everybody was gone, working and so on and so forth. And so we went back to his place and we're like, what are we going to do? What can we do? I was like, I want to do something with a book bag. I feel like it'll be fun to have that as a prop to fight with. And he's like, yeah, that sounds cool. And we start sharing music with one another, because the process that Chris has is he likes to have a song first and then he'll edit to the song. And the final song that we got through was the My Hero Academia track. And he was like, I've been wanting to do something with this. And I'm like, why don't we do something in this universe? Let's just do our own thing, you know? Like, there's really no representation of people that look like us in it. Let's just create a character and do that. And he was like, well, I can do this kind of teleportation effect. And I was like, cool. And I want to do the backpack. And he's like, let's do it with the backpack. And we can treat it like, you know, like you throw it and you teleport, and it'll be like Minato, and we'll kind of rip off of Naruto. And I was like, okay, that sounds sick. So I made a phone call to a couple guys to see who was available, who could come by that evening to like map out choreography. And Nathan Peoples was available to come by after his shift at the Hard Rock at City Walk, and he came through. We choreographed it up, and it was literally supposed to just be one off. Like the part one, it was supposed to be boom, that's it. We're done. Like we just did that to get the juices going, to get it all warmed up and ready to go to shoot our next big thing.
Yeah.
And Anime Expo came up. We got to Anime Expo, and people were like, yo, this is dope. And it started to really gain traction. Like it got to 1 million views, and people were like, when's the next part? What's the next part? People were commenting on giving the character names and what their quirk names were. And that alone was like, okay, we have to do a second part at least. And that second part turned into actually being 3 parts. Cleo was with us at Anime Expo hanging out. You know, I usually do all the expos like E3, Comic-Con, and Anime Expo with my homies. So it'd be like, if Chris is in town, Chris is there, Haley's there, What's Good is there, Cleo is there, Flash, Yoshi Sudarso. We're all hanging out, and we all run the floor together and have a good time, and just it's a moment for us to all geek out. And I think on day 2, Chris was like, yo, you should come out in the costume and see how people react. And the reaction to it was so big that we were like, yeah, we have to do a part 2. So we immediately started coming up with ideas and how to pull characters in. And that's when I was like, we should get Cleo to come in. I'm sure he'd be down. And he's like, you sure? I was like, yeah, that's the homie. He's like one of my bros. He totally be down for it. And I instantly hit Cleo up, and Cleo's like, yo, I'd be honored to. And I was like, cool. So I was like, yo, we got Cleo. He's like, all right, cool. We need some other dudes. So I called up my friends Mark Michione and Jake Kwan, who are very talented stunt people who are working in the industry right now as we speak. And it became this thing that we made called UALA Episode 0 Pilot, you know? And that's, I guess the rest is history.
Yeah, it's epic.
Right.
And I just want to clarify, you know, you mentioned a lot of amazing people, but Cleo is Cleo Thomas, who played Zero in Holes, and he also has a clothing brand where he has some Sailor Moon t-shirts, so we haven't talked to him eventually, but yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that is awesome. Man, that's so cool. And I love that you were able, like, you know, a lot of people you were with were also stunt people, so you're really able to do some really cool, like fighting and, you know, stunts.
So there's like a big, so there's the stunt community, and within the stunt community now there's what we would call fight guys, guys who specialize in fighting, and the guys who I come from are from the indie martial arts world. These are the dudes that go out and make the YouTube videos that you watch, which would include people like Vlad Rimberg, Emmanuel Manzanares, Eric Jacobus, to name a few, Brian Sloyer. They are the guys who I like came up with in a sense of my career, training and learning under, from shooting in their shorts and working on their projects. So we're completely close knit. It's funny because we're all connected through martial arts and martial arts cinema, inspired by people like Jackie Chan, Yim Biao, Sammo Hung, Bruce Lee. And we're just trying to create, and our love to create is what has brought us together, and has also, I would say, been a huge reason why we're as successful as we are in this industry.
Nice. Do you have a favorite martial arts movie?
Favorite martial arts movie would be Police Story. Jackie Chan's Police Story.
It's a classic.
It's a classic. It's between that or Drunken Master 2.
Oh yeah, those are good too. Awesome. And I remember you mentioned you used to go to like Taekwondo classes after watching Sailor Moon, Dragon Ball Z.
Yes.
Are you skilled in any other martial arts?
Yes. Taekwondo was the first one, but capoeira was something that I was introduced to when I was 5 years old. My older brother is actually a contramaestre in New York City, contramaestre Omi, and I also trained in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu under Cobrinha Charles out here in Los Angeles, which has been really fun. I wish it was open right now because I want to get back into it. I've been having to take a break because not only COVID, but for work purposes. I can't afford to get injured, and I go hard. Boxing is something as well, and little bits of influence in Kung Fu and in Muay Thai from just it's the at joining all movements you're exposed to so many different people, so many different disciplines, and it's a place where you can trade those vocabularies amongst one another. So we've been constantly like, oh, I'll show you this and you show me that, and so on and so forth.
That sounds cool. It makes sense because you are obviously a very talented stunt person. How did you get into stunt acting?
Actually, it's because of Vlad. I had moved out here from New York when I was 19 years old, like right out of high school, and I was working as a professional dancer under Chris Brown, and I've been wanting to get into the film industry. And I was like, that's always been my dream goal. I've always wanted to be Bruce Lee. I've always wanted to be Jackie Chan, and I was told to hit up Vlad, and I at first was too punk ass to hit him up, but luckily a friend of mine, Mickey Facinello, she called me one day to be like, hey, you want to come and shoot with me and Chris? I was supposed to have my friend our friend Danny Graham, who is the Black Panther stunt double in Black Panther, and also my roommate when I first moved out here, come out and shoot this fight scene. And when I got there, it was with Amy Johnston, Andy Lay, Chris Cowan was shooting along with Vlad Rimberg, and that was my first true introduction to Vlad. And from that point on, Vlad called me for another shoot, which I did horrible in, and he made fun of me, but he didn't give up on me. He he made me feel really bad, and then called me back the next day and was like, I have an idea. We're going to shoot this instead. And that turned out to be Objective, which is on YouTube. And so shooting with him gave me kind of a visual, like Hollywood super, they got to see it first, before they give you a shot. They got to know what you can do before they actually see you as possibly being able to do it. And I was helping James Young, who was offered a possible spot as the fight choreographer for Captain America Winter Soldier. And he got the job. They're getting ready to do the elevator sequence, and they're calling in people to come in and do the fight. And they needed a particular stunt. They're like, who do you think can do this? And James and Aaron Toney and Chris Brewster went to the stunt coordinator, Tom Harper, and was like, well, this young kid's really good. And he's like, really? Show me his stuff. And luckily, because I had been shooting all these YouTube videos with Vlad and Manny, that they were able to show him reference of my abilities outside of being like, hey, can you just send us a clip of you doing some stuff? They actually had some footage to show him, and he was like, yeah, sure, let's give him a shot. And so I got the phone call, and that was my first big break into the stunt community.
Nice. Yeah. And I totally said, I think Civil War earlier, obviously meant Winter Soldiers. But yeah, that elevator scene was iconic. How did you anticipate it being like such a iconic scene when you were shooting it?
For me, I was too busy fanning out about the fact that I'm working on this film.
Fair. Like that's Chris Evans, yeah.
I mean, I knew it was going to be amazing. I knew it was going to be great because I know the kind of action that was going to be brought to the film, especially being the fact that I was helmed by the choreography was helmed by somebody from the indie world, along with the stunt double of Captain America being Sam Hargrave, who was my stunt idol, somebody who I wanted to be like in the community. Awesome. It's actually pretty funny when we were shooting stuff with Vlad. Vlad would goad me into doing certain stunt gags and be like, "Well, Sam Hargrave did it. Look at Sam Hargrave's reel." And I'm like, "Well, fine, I'm gonna do it then." And that's how I gained the courage to go after certain things that normally I'd be scared of. So like it was inevitable. We knew, like, at the moment, being in the moment, I was so focused on other parts of the moment that I wasn't thinking like, yo, this is going to be a classic, you know. But I knew that all the right pieces were there.
Yeah, it's such a cool scene. The other thing I realized too later on is that, you know, the first time that we see Black Panther, it's actually you.
Yes. Which is so cool.
Yeah.
That's probably like something I'll take to the grave with me, and I'll be like, put that on my stone.
Yeah. I was the first online version of like, yeah. I would totally do the same thing if I were you.
Can you blame?
Yeah. Cause like I think like that, like people were using that like clip all everywhere. Just like they had the GIF on Twitter, just like Black Panther. Like I just remember that scene where he's like the claws come out and he's just like ready to fight, and that was like I've arrived, you know, like that feeling. Yep. And I was just like, man, that was you. That's so dope.
Yeah. It's such a cool moment in time for me. Yeah. Super grateful.
Yeah. Please, yeah. I mean, obviously that was a great project, but do you have any other favorite projects you like to work on? I mean, you've been in so many amazing
things. It's
things.
funny because, like, all right, so there's this movie that I don't know if it's a good movie or not, but I had the most fun working on it, and it was called The Veil, and it's on Netflix. It was after I did Winter Soldier. Now, the way how the stunt industry works is there's no managers or agents, really. It's all about the stunt coordinator hiring you. And he has to know who you are. Somebody has to bring your name up in order for that to happen. So I'm still new, so not a lot of people are calling me up. And I'm living in my car at the moment until a very close friend of mine, Ryan Potter, who is the Beast Boy in Titans series, he and his mom opened their house to me and let me sleep on their couch in their back room. I get called in to work on The Veil with James Young, and we were in Oklahoma for 2 months, and it was a very small cast. We had no idea what was going on when it came to shooting, but it was so much fun because we were all together, and there was no ego in the process of making the film. Like, the director was cool, the hair and makeup girls were cool, the cast was cool, and we were like, there was literally nothing to do in Oklahoma that we would just all be hanging out together anyway. So I would deem that to be one of the most fun times and one of my most favorite projects.
Yeah, that's cool. I remember that's like a horror film, I think.
No, it's not even a horror. That's the thing. Like, I don't even know what it is.
I gotta remember that. I remember not watching it because I'm like, this looks scary. I don't do scary. Oh, okay. Maybe I'll check it out then. Is it with Jessica Alba?
No, this is with Serinda Swan, William Moseley, and I can't even think of the name now. I think that's it. We'll just leave it at that.
Yeah.
William Levy. There we go.
Got it.
Spanish Latin guy.
Cool. Yeah, I gotta check this out. It sounds. I mean, I feel like movies that are fun to make are usually At least some, like, it kind of comes off. I think it's probably a fun movie. Oh, I see. Yeah, this looks cool. It's action adventure.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is dope.
It was pretty crazy because like on the last day, we're in like we're in like supposed to be tribal-esque clothing.
Mm-hmm.
So we're out there in Oklahoma, and all of a sudden starts that hailstorm while we're shooting, and it's supposed to be a summer scene.
Mm-hmm. Oh,
so
and you're like
heavy. I'm freezing.
Yeah,
and I like to consider myself tropical. So
okay.
I immediately shrivel up. That's why I left New York, because I can't handle the winters. I'm too punk for that.
Fair. Yeah, I get it. I'm from Florida, so like it took some adjustment coming to
right. Exactly. California has made me so soft. I am so soft thanks to California.
I think I would get the same way for sure, because the weather is even better there than I think in Florida.
Ugh, it's consistent.
Mm-hmm. Oh my god, I can't imagine that. That sounds amazing. But yeah, but that's cool. I'm glad that you got that experience. It sounds like it was fun. I often wonder, like I know the Boomerang, the movie. People always talk about how like fun that set was. So I appreciate it. You know. Right. Yeah. The other thing is, I want to bring up, you're a Manchester United fan. Yes. I'm just always like, I think it's cool when people like really take on a fandom for sports. So what got you into being a Manchester United fan?
Becoming a Manchester United fan was a couple things. One would be that I really enjoyed Cristiano Ronaldo. His younger years there was like amazing. And the fact that one of my best friends is a Manchester United fan, and living with him for a little bit kind of pushed me into that circle of choosing that team, along with a lot of great players that I really like are currently on the team, like Paul Pogba, Martial, Rashford, Mason Greenwood, who is a young phenom in my opinion, have all been there, and they're representing us very well in my opinion. And just they're one of the highest winning teams in the Premier League, so that also helps that being a fan of a winning team. My cousin's probably going to hate me right now for saying that publicly, because he definitely wants me to be a Chelsea fan, especially for this coming season. It's up for negotiation. Maybe.
It's fair. Maybe.
I would like to take out of Snoop Dogg's book, I am the most loyal unloyal.
I guess, yeah. I mean, that's how. Are you originally from New York?
Yes.
So yeah, I feel like you have to be. I think all New Yorkers are probably loyally unloyal, because
right, you have to be. Like the Knicks, they let you down so much. The Giants, they do good like maybe once every other 4 years.
Yeah.
Yankees were probably the most consistent, and you had to pick between Yankees or Mets. Right. I chose Yankees. But I've run into many people that chose Mets. So, and if the Yankees are out, then you're gonna go for the Mets.
And that's hit or miss. Yeah. Yeah, so I get that. Hey Moonies, here's a fun fact for you. Did you know that Sailor Moon creator Naoko Takeuchi is married to Yu Hakusho and Hunter x Hunter creator Yoshihiro Togashi? I know, power couple goals. If you're a fan of 90s anime like me, head over to Namiwear to get some of the best anime-inspired streetwear from Akira, Slam Dunk, and you guessed it, Yu Hakusho. They also show love to newer shows like My Hero Academia and Demon Slayer, but they sell out quick, so head over to Namiwear.com to get some of the best anime-inspired streetwear out there, and use code Moonies Club to get 20% off. And what else do you stand? I mean, we talked about a lot of things, but do you have anything else that you stand?
I stand for LeBron James.
Ooh, yeah.
I think he's amazing and I'm not even talking about what he does on the court. I think about what he stands for outside the court. I think is really amazing. I really enjoy his philanthropy work. the ideas that he's pushed forward and trying to push our community forward. I think that's a really big thing to talk about.
Yeah.
I mean, I love anime, I love manga, I love motorcycle stuff, martial arts in general. So I'm into the UFC, I'm into ONE FC. I'm a big fan of Demetrius, Mighty Mouse, Anderson Silva, the Style Bender, to name a couple people. Yeah, you know. I'm all over the place.
Yeah, I see. It's good though. It's good to have interests. Yeah, that's cool. Actually, I forgot to ask you, what's the hardest stunt you've ever done?
The hardest stunt, I feel like I end up doing it all the time. Is jumping off of high things.
Yeah.
I would say the hardest one for me was actually on. It's a toss up between Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2 and Pacific Rim 2. I had to do a high fall about 60 feet up for Guardians, and we're all jumping in threes into box catchers. So we build up some boxes, like some regular moving boxes, and we stack them up to a certain height, and we put some unboxed up boxes in between called stiffers. We stiffen it to break our falls, and we get lifted up on these lifts, and we drop down in different styles, however we like, and we're going by threes, and we do it 3 times in different positions. So I start off in the middle, so then we go to our right, so then I'm in the back, and then I'm gonna go to the front. So the first 2 times I'm killing it. I've done everything I'm comfortable with. I don't really like heights. I'll do it because it's a job, but I don't like heights.
Yeah.
And I mean, like, who would really enjoy like the idea of like jumping off of something,
60 feet in the air,
60 feet in the air, 100 feet in the air, and there's no line on me. It's a free fall.
Oh wow. Okay. I didn't realize that.
So we get to actual me in the front, and I already have in mind what I'm gonna do. I'm like, all right, cool. I'm gonna do this other basic fall because I'm getting the job done, and I want it to look perfect, and I don't want to get hurt. And my boss screams up to me. He's like, "Hey, Gui." I'm like, "Yes, sir." He's like, "They do something twisty." And I'm like, that is not what I was planning on doing at all. I was not planning on doing anything fancy, nothing twisty at all. But now I'm getting called on the spot in front of all these people to do it.
Right.
And I'm like, all right, well, here we go. And I just chuck something that I'm used to throwing on the ground because I'm like, I can spot it. I know where I'm at. And my body naturally goes into landing mode. So my feet go towards the ground, which is not what you want to do. You want to land flat in the boxes. And I am quickly having to adjust myself, and I kind of get hurt. I limp out, and they're like, "Come here, I know you're hurting, but look at this awesome shot that we got of you, and it's cool, and that's cool." And then what happened on Pacific Rim is I'm actually on a line, and I'm 30 to 35 feet up at a BP station, jumping off of a tower to a rope that's about 12 feet away from me. And I have to catch the rope. The rope is going to spool out, and I'm supposed to fall to 30 feet, hit half of my torso onto a shipping container, and then hit the ground. Of course, they want to do this at 2 a.m.
Oh, my God.
So we go, we shoot, we're shooting it, and we're doing it, and it's going great. Tom's like, "Great, cool, we're done. We're going to move on. We're going to get shots with the actor." I'm like, "Great, cool." So I'm thinking, I'm cooling down, like, all right, we're done. I did my big stunt for the day. We're going to move on soon. And they're like, "Oh, no, Gui, actually, come up. We're going to do it one more time from this. We want to do it from this angle now." And I'm like, oh, okay. All right, cool. So, the usual stunt mentality is like, okay, you called me up. It's time to go. I don't want to hold anything back. We don't want people waiting on stunts. Mm-hmm. So I get up there and I go and I land so weird on the container and then fall that you just hear it go, "Ugh!" And people are like, "Are you okay?" I'm like, "Yeah, I'm all right. Just felt weird." And, again, dealing with heights and having to hit things on the way down with heights.
Yeah, doing twisty things.
Yeah, no big deal.
Oh man, I can't imagine. I do not like heights, and it's hard enough for me to stand when I'm up high. So I commend you completely.
That was my first. That when I first got asked about doing heights on, it was on Winter Soldier. That was the first thing that they're like. People say they're okay with it, but then they get up there and they don't. And they freeze. I'm like, cool. So what you're telling me is that all I have to do is get up there and actually jump, and you're going to be okay with me doing this? I was like, all right, well, I might close my eyes, but
I'll jump.
do it.
Yeah, that's fair. I feel like it's like I'll jump. It may not look like, my eyes may be closed. I may be like flailing, but I'll jump.
Right. And sometimes that's all they needed was for you to actually flail, maybe.
Yeah, it's kind of like that.
And I get more confident with it. You trust, especially when you're on the line. You trust the system. You're like, okay, I'm not going to die, and then you get more confidence. Then you can start performing it, and so on and so forth. It takes some time though, and you get there.
Yeah, that makes sense. And how long have you been doing stunts?
I've been doing stunts now for 8 years.
Wow. Yeah.
It's a career.
Yeah.
I've gotten to see the world. I was already very privileged enough that I was dancing behind such a big musical artist like Chris Brown that I got to see the world before even stepping into the film industry, and then seeing the world again from another lens. So I'm super grateful. It's been an amazing journey, and I just hope that I can get to that next level for me.
Yeah, I'm sure that capoeira came in handy too during the Chris Brown tour.
Oh yeah, the tricking. Well, martial arts tricking was a big part of my movement background. I had taught Chris how to do stuff like the B twist and the cork, all the stuff that you see him do now. I can say that it was because I showed him, and his amazing ability to just copy what I do allowed him to bring something new to his fans.
Nice. Yeah. How was that experience too?
It was amazing. I didn't go to college. I was a part of a contemporary dance company, and I was also a street dancer. Yeah. Was a part of the Light Feet movement with Breakfast Club. And he called me one day and was like, "Yo, I want you to come in and do the Year 3 Times music video. Bring your homies, Danny Graham, Kyle Cordova, Anish Shurfa, Anish Shurfa." And and I was like, I can't, but they can. They're all here in Los Angeles, but I'm in Boston working with this contemporary company. He's like, okay, cool, that's fine, but also I want you to dance for me. And I was like, I'm already moving to Los Angeles, so perfect.
Yeah.
You don't have to put me up in a hotel or anything like that. We'll just do the damn thing,
Yeah. And also, you mentioned it earlier, but it's kind of like amazing that you and the Black Panther stunt double and Black Panther were roommates, and then you both ended up being stunt doubles for Black Panther.
All three of the main stunt doubles for Black Panther we were all roommates at one point.
Oh my god.
When I first moved to Los Angeles, it was a 2-bedroom apartment off of Lancashire Boulevard, for those who know about North Hollywood, behind the XMA studio at the time. It was me, Danny Graham, Anish Shurfa, Kyle Cordova, and Rudy Raynon, all living in the same place. Me, Danny Graham, and Anish shared the same bed at one point. And all three of us have been the stunt double for Black Panther.
That is so serendipitous.
Right? It's like, how does, you can't write that stuff.
Yeah, that's, that comes up a lot with Black Panther. I realize there's a lot of a lot of people were just in the right place at the right time, and just it just came together.
It did. It absolutely did. It actually made a huge surge in the Black representation in stunts. Before Black Panther, there was maybe a handful of us, I would say, and not to toot my own horn, but I would consider myself to be of the top 5 of that group.
Hey.
But then now you have so many more people, because they needed to have Black stunt people for that film, that it gave so many people an opportunity and work, which is something that we're fighting for right now. We're fighting for more of that visual representation out there. There's a lot of films that are shot with having a bunch of stunt people come in and be what we call nondescript stunts or utility stunts. And they always end up being Caucasian because it's always having to fight the mafia or the mob or some sort of Caucasian looking villain, you know?
Right.
So the work is scarce unless you're a double like myself and my two buddies.
Yeah. I imagine too, like, because they were able to get, you know, that opportunity to be on the film, that they were able to use that footage to show what they did, kind of like
exactly. And you show people that you can do the job, that you can get it done, which is like what YouTube did for me. It allowed people to see that, oh, this guy can actually, he has some talent, you know?
Yeah. That's awesome. Yeah. And so I like to end the show. So I don't know if you remember, at the end of the Toonami Sailor Moon episodes, she had like a Sailor Moon Says phrase where she would like give a PSA at the end of every episode.
Yep.
So if you had a phrase, Sailor Gui says, help your friends and do exactly what you love to do, because that's where you'll find true happiness. Oh, I love that. It's so true.
Right.
It's so true. And yeah, back to just Sailor Moon, like what did you feel? What were you thinking when you saw it?
I was like, what is this? Because I definitely wasn't at the point where, you know, now looking at it, I'm like, wow, this is hypersexualized. But back then I was like, what is this with these girls wearing skirts and stuff and fighting villains in skirts? This is weird.
They need jumpsuits, yeah.
Yeah, like, what is it? Like, this is not Power Rangers.
That's funny. Yeah, especially since Sailor Moon was like inspired by Power Rangers to a degree.
Absolutely. It's that culture, the Saint Seiya culture is the whole idea of like the vulnerability before the transformation into the suit.
And like the color-coded, you know, groups.
It's so Japanese.
Yeah, love it.
It's so great. It's so great. I'm actually rewatching it right now.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and I'm watching it subbed instead of dubbed, so that way I can have a different viewpoint of it, because I like seeing how the acting is done differently.
Yeah. Are you watching it on Hulu, I'm guessing?
Yes.
Nice. So what's your how are you feeling about it on your second watch?
Second watch, I'm actually realizing how much of a loser nerd Sailor Moon actually is.
Ouch. But yeah, I get it. No,
it completely relates to me. I'm like, yeah, exactly. I don't want to save the world right now. I want to play video games.
Yeah, that is me too. That's why.
So it's like, oh, cool. Like, there's way more to this I can relate to now. It's so great. Yeah, no, it's totally true. Someone made a good point that like in any other anime, she would be the like comedic relief character. Right. But you know, she's the lead, and that's what really makes it so special. It's so great. I'm actually really enjoying it. I'm happy that I'm revisiting it more as an adult. Yeah, me too. That's awesome. Have you had any episodes that stuck out to you as you've been rewatching? Which one was it? Where Tuxedo Mask, like where they finally find out who he is, his secret identity. Yeah, that's a good one. He sacrifices himself and gets hurt. Yeah, I thought that was, I was enjoying that because the whole episode before that, she is literally not wanting to do anything and just beat this video game. Right. And I'm like, look at this girl. She's trying to live her best life. She's trying to live her best life, and they keep dragging her into this fight that she probably doesn't want to be a part of. Yeah, but she always shows up. That's what. Always shows up. That's what it's about. Show up for your homies. Yeah, yeah. It's like what you just said. You gotta help your friends. Help your friends and do what you love to do. Yes, and that's where she ends up doing eventually. Sailor Gui. Yes. I love it. And what's next for you, and where can people find you? What's next for me? Right now, I'm currently pushing my acting career because I feel like we can have another action star that does his own stuff. Absolutely. New project coming out, Project Power. I doubled Jamie Foxx for a good portion of it. Clay Fontenot, who is a legend in the stunt community, is the lead double, but I got the opportunity because he was working on something else to come in and meet the great Jamie Foxx. And you can reach me and find me on Instagram at Gui X Dasilva, and on Twitter, Gui Dasilva back.
That's funny.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a nickname that we'll talk about in another interview, another chat.
Okay. Can't wait to hear that story.
Oh yeah.
And once again, I'm Victoria L. Johnson. This is the Sailor Moon Fan Club, and you can follow us at Moonies Club on Twitter and Moonies_Club on Instagram, and you follow me at Miss Old School with a K on Twitter and Instagram. And like and subscribe us, guys. Thanks for listening, Moonies. And thank you, Gui, for coming on the show.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, this was awesome.
I really appreciate it.
Yeah.
Thanks for listening. For those of you who are going to listen to me talk and ramble, I hope my voice isn't too crackly or weird.
No, your voice is perfect. This is awesome.
I appreciate you, Queen. Thank you.